PTA stands for Parents Teachers Association. How can parents be better involved in that? I feel the first thing is them having meaningful discussions with their children. When a child leaves school, for example, after a hard day at school, because they have hard days at school, the first thing you do is ask them how their day was. My name is Mrs. Iyen Ekong. I'm the PTA Chairperson of Greensprings Lekki Campus. I have 3 children. I'm happily married to a man called Victor. I do fashion for a living. I own a boutique named Hot Stepper in the Kota Shopping Complex. Well, many schools are just beginning to come out of what the pressures of COVID-19 pandemic put on us. Before now, as a school, we're able to plan things around a particular calendar. You know, it was easy to say, okay, this fun day is this day. There's a Year 9 forum, for example, on a certain day, and this and that. But the novel situation just made things very difficult for us, and that affected planning a lot. And when this situation came about, the COVID-19 pandemic, of course, which was very new to everyone, we had to go from on-site to online learning. That means the parents too had so many challenges, of course, data, power outage, the network issues. We had teachers, you know, trying to do all the things they hadn't done before because they were used to their whiteboards and writing on, you know, in the classroom on them. Now, as PTA chairperson, it was time to think outside the box. How can we support parents? How do we do this? Because we don't meet them on the corridors anymore. You know, at that point, you could just meet a parent after like an assembly and stuff like that. But those things weren't happening anymore. We had to rely on phones and also text messages and online meetings and things like that. So thinking outside the box meant support for parents, no longer physically, but you know, of course, off campus and on the phone and online, like I mentioned. I had to personally sharpen my interpersonal skills, meaning I had to make the parents give me that kind of little trust when it came to discussing issues with them, which could be financial issues, behavioral issues of their words, ways to just carry on during the pandemic. Those things had to be formed. I made new friends on the phone, you know, because I had to look for a way for them to, you know, to trust my capabilities and also ensure that there were some solutions that came with that. Now we had to have town hall meetings as a school, meaning the leadership and the management had to come together with the parents and teachers to have meetings online where we could discuss our issues and prefer solutions to them. Then wellness outreach for the teachers. Now remember, the teachers were just trying to put things together to make sure our children, they became frontliners in the education sector. Like I always say, they had to also find a way to be safe from the virus. It was a lot on them. They were dealing with so much. So we had to look for fora across board to get them engaged and tell them we appreciate them. You know, think of them, get into their minds and say, we already know what you're going through mentally, even though we don't know all of it, but we appreciate you deeply. So those things had to come into play. And of course, our staff appreciation went ahead to, you know, we had online events set up for them, staff appreciation events still. They held online to tell them who or what they meant to us and our children and how appreciative we were of everything that they were doing. And of course, palliative packages that were sent home to these our esteemed members of staff. So basically, I also had to support the management and leadership of Greensprings School. It meant more phone calls. It meant more engagements with authority as even high as Mrs. Koike and every other person. Of course, our head of school, Mrs. Ojugo. We had to look for ways to meaningfully engage and discuss problems that we were encountering at the time and of course, prefer solutions to those problems. So it was a lot to deal with, but still, we rose and we still stand. Okay, PTA stands for Parents Teachers Association. What I would just say in a nutshell is the PTA is a way of getting parents and teachers to better collaborate to give our children a good educational experience through structure. So the PTA gives all of our event structure. It helps us better collaborate with the parents and the teachers, of course, and the children being involved and doing things in a much precise way to help our children morally, socially, mentally, and them succeeding in the society when they grow up. That's what the PTA really is about. Okay, now how can parents be better involved in that? I feel the first thing is them having meaningful discussions with their children. When a child leaves school, for example, after a hard day at school, because they have hard days at school, the first thing you do is ask them how their day was. How can you better relate with others? Are you being treated well? Is there something going on you'd like me to know? How am I even functioning as your parent? Would you want me to do things better? That helps them know that we have their back because we're being involved in their educational pursuits and we are making them know we have their back. That level of security makes them function better. And one of the aims and the objectives of the PTA is getting involved in what our children do at home. That's maintaining discipline at home. I know it will happen in school, but we as parents must maintain that form of discipline at home. And discipline doesn't mean spanking. It doesn't mean shouting at a child. It means, like I said, meaningful discussions, telling them how to get things done. You just finished with that cup, please take it to the kitchen and wash it and keep it. If you don't tell the child doesn't know what to do with a cup, for example. A 1-year-old knows what to do. So meaningful discussions, of course, being involved in their disciplinary, phase of things, and also attending, paying attention to what they are doing in school, not watching our children only at work, but also at play. So when you're invited, for example, for their fun day, you're invited to the weekly assemblies, just make time out to come see what they are dealing with. And also as a parent, conforming to the rules of the school. We need to do that because our children are watching us and they in turn will conform to the rules that are given to them because we as parents have done our part. So I think that's what we should do as PTA members, basically. And that collaboration will work for three of us because we stand on three legs: the parents, the teachers, and the students. If one is missing, you see we wobble. But when we stand on the three, things will go well. So that's the part or the roles I think parents should play as PTA members. Because when you register a child at Greensprings School, you become an automatic member of its PTA. For a long time, I was Activities Committee Chairperson, meaning I had to lead a group of fine gentlemen and women to plan and execute events. After that, I became PTA Chair. What that means is I now have to oversee the works of the Activities Committee. I now, direct them as the first EXCO member to say, okay, I'm acting as your accounting officer, which is what, of course, the Constitution stipulates that I do. So I look at their finances, see what they are doing, inaugurate the right people into ATCOM, make sure there are no reservations before they come in. I also play an advisory role to the advisory board of Greensprings School. So that means I see things on the inside more than just what I'll normally see as an Activities Committee Chairperson. And I also give support to, there's a policy making side of it, policy support side of it, where I deal with the leadership of the management and staff of Greensprings School. So those are basically the things I do. So it's a higher role, but you're more on the inside at this point than I was as Activities Committee Chairperson. Interestingly, when you have a passion for something, you make out time for it. No matter how busy you are, for that passion for that particular thing, you take time out to make sure it works. For Greensprings School, I'm so in love with all of its policies and the way things are done here, and how Greensprings has helped my children become who they are today. So I just look at my personal calendar and schedule, and look at that of Greensprings, and look for a way to weave them intermittently. How do I do that? For example, I have 2 graduations to attend to this year. So I've looked at the calendar to see what Greensprings School has and what our graduation ceremonies are like. So I know when to travel. So what I do is look at it ahead of time and make my travel plans and local plans, knowing that all the schedules have to be met and met well. I need to attend to the events that Greensprings School needs me to be present for, and also be me. So with passion, you should sit down, actually take a look at both schedules and hit a balance, and that's exactly what I do, because I'm very passionate about what I do for Greensprings School. This is my time at Greensprings School, serving in various capacities in the EXCO, starting from Activities Committee Chairperson to PTA Chair. I have loved to maintain a certain amount of transparency and accountability. So in the financial records, since I've been dealing with the affairs of the PTA, reflect how diligent we've been in maintaining a clean slate, making sure we've made money and we can account for every penny that is on there. If I can be remembered for that, it would all be worth it. That's the legacy I look forward to, basically. Interestingly, diligence, transparency, and accountability. Those 3 words would do it.